A lawsuit filed by an Edmond man challenging the Oklahoma Tax Commission's denial of his request for a personalized license tag is raising questions about free speech and how the commission determines offensive language. The case could have far-reaching implications as the U.S. Supreme Court considers a similar matter involving First Amendment rights.
Most Oklahomans opt for the random license plate letters and numbers issued by the Oklahoma Tax Commission. But around 50,000 people have paid $35 extra to have a personalized plate. Some tout a driver's favorite college team. Others reflect a driver's personality or what they care about. John P. Keefe requested that his plate display the acronym LGBT followed by an abbreviated ally. He has a sister who is gay, and as a certified minister, he performs marriage ceremonies for opposite and same-sex couples.
To simply express support for a community that has long faced, great discrimination. We have tags for people who believe in God. We have tags for people who are pro-life. We have other political tags. We have other tags that express things that really mean stuff to people. Why not this?
But the Oklahoma Tax Commission has rejected Keefe's request. Keefe says a commission employee told him it was denied because the term LGBT has sexual connotations.
I said, okay, well, I'm going to protest this, because this is a discriminatory violation of civil rights and the freedom of speech. They said, go ahead. I said, okay.
A hearing before an Oklahoma Tax Commission administrative law judge is coming up this summer. John Broadway is Keefe's attorney. He hopes the Tax Commission will reverse its decision.
If we show them that Oklahomans, by and large, are not offended by the reference to LGBT, that they don't view it as an acronym with a sexual connotation, that it essentially identifies a person with a certain kind of a political persuasion or an activist in a certain element of civil rights protection, then I think they would view their decision differently.
Director of Communications for the Tax Commission, Paula Ross, says she can't talk about the specifics of the protested plate, but says there are guidelines as to what is not acceptable.
It goes through its sexual connotation, there's contempt, ridicule, race, gender, politics, ethnic heritage, or religion.
Ross says the guidelines are not designed to be judgmental.
And sometimes it may not be something that's necessarily offensive to us, but we realize with our rules set in place, we don't want it to cause something in the public that's out there that might cause someone to defame a license plate or cause something that would a problem. So whether it's vulgar or just something that's political, or whether it's something that we feel like, according to the rules, would be a problem.
Ryan Kiesel is the executive director for the ACLU of Oklahoma.
Categorizing an individual's sexual orientation as something that is sexually explicit. And that is an insult and trivializes the identity that's deeply personal to thousands of Oklahomans, and it attempts to essentially censor who people are.
He says the Tax Commission's guidelines give way for arbitrary decisions.
If the guidelines allow for that sort of latitude of a state employee to make that kind of a judgment call, then the guidelines just simply aren't working.
The Tax Commission provided a list of plate requests that have been denied. It is lengthy, and many requests are too offensive to repeat. But some seem harmless, like glory, hail, ping, pass gas, poo-poo, or skinnies. Kiesel questions the denial of one that reads red rum. He recognizes that is murder spelled backward.
I look at that and I think that it's more of a pop culture reference. If I were driving past someone on the road and I saw that, I think, well, there's someone else that likes and enjoys Stanley Kubrick movies as much as I do.
Oklahoma is not the only state grappling with controversial plate requests. A lawsuit in Texas regarding the rejection of a plate with a Confederate flag has made its way to the United States Supreme Court. Justices are deciding whether government can reject certain messages on specialty plate requests.